It is far from business as usual, but Chicago's Chinatown is attempting to move on after the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Although some restaurants close for good, other business owners are hopeful for the future. But here, as is the case in many areas of the US, there is a concern over a surge in anti-Asian hate crimes.
Well, this is very personal for me. My own aunt was attacked last year in LA, Koreatown of all places, in broad daylight. Larger white individual man threw rocks at her and blamed her for the pandemic and ran off. I think for most Asian Americans, we at this point, unfortunately, have a loved one or a friend or somebody we know personally that has experienced some form of harassment if we haven't experienced it ourselves.
Hate crimes against Asians have increased significantly during the course of the COVID-19 pandemic. The advocacy group Stop AAPI Hate says it received more than 6,000 reports of hate incidents between March 2020 and March this year, while separate research from California State University says hate crimes against Asians increased 169% in the first 3 months of this year.
The Chinese American Museum of Chicago opened in 2005. It details the various contributions of Chinese Americans to the region. Administrators believe education is a key weapon against hate.
I would say that, history always repeats itself. That's why we need to preserve the history so that people can learn, and try to not to repeat the history.
People are ignorant about how Chinese or Asian built America. People will come in and visit and learn a little bit about history and Chinese culture so that they won't be so ignorant.
Washington is making moves to address the issue. Last month, US President Joe Biden signed into law the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. It aims to improve the tracking of hate crimes, help victims overcome language barriers to report crimes, and creates a Justice Department position to focus on anti-Asian hate. In-hee Choi is the executive director of Hana, a Korean-American non-profit organization that provides social and legal services.
This is also a moment that you have to talk about long-term, because like short-term solution, conversation, and action without the long-term vision or plan for it, it would just be perpetual. We'll just be only swimming here, and it will not end.
While Andy Kang of Asian Americans Advancing Justice says there also needs to be repercussions for those who promote hate.
There's going to be tensions with countries as part of our foreign policy. We know that, right? And I would just say that we need to make sure that people are exercising the responsibilities that they have as leaders to talk about it in a responsible way that's not going to endanger Asian Americans or any group really for being scapegoated.
Attacks like this one put the issue of Asian hate in the spotlight. They prompted action. But for Asian Americans, concern and anxiety remain high. Dan Williams, CGTN, Chicago.